Oh, Allison Gardner here, and tonight I am majorly tired. It's an accumulation of lack of sleep, perhaps a sickness that's going around, but I am fighting really hard with my vinegar drink, so it's not, and stress that's building up over time, and a whole world of emotions and fears and memories and things, and I hope that I make sense. I want to share what depression looks like to me and feels like to me and how I do battle with it myself. Because this for me is a very careful line for me to tread, because there is someone who I love more than life itself who's in the middle of it. And he's having a hard time, and I try and share things from my perspective, and I try and share what's mine, but so much of what goes on for me is based on what is going on for him. And so one of my hopes in sharing is to say that when I share, I'm not sharing about him. Because the man that I married and am married to, is an amazing man. He is kind and caring and compassionate and so patient, and will walk me through any time that I'm having a hard time, is so patient with me and gives me space to share what I'm afraid of, and lights the way to my dreams and helps me believe in myself more than I believe in myself. But he faces a battle. And yes, I know that there are triggers. Yes, I know that there are medical causes. Yes, I know that there's a whole world of psychology and theory on depression and the causes of depression. I've heard of them, I've studied into them, I'm aware of that. But I also know that when depression enters our home and enters it as another being, is what it feels like. And I've done this in another video, and I can link out to that below. Of just this other being that kind of enters our space and goes to battle with the man that I love and the man that I value and care so much about. And when that being shows up and goes to war, the person that I love is under attack and retreats and pulls inward to try and survive, so that all that is left is this thing. And when that happens, it can feel so much like we are both the victim, and that we just kind of have to wait out the storm and do our best, because sometimes it's quick and easy and it comes and it goes, and you wake up the next morning and you're like, we made it. And sometimes it stays, and it's big and scary and it's terrifying, and you do your best. And you wake up months later and then you go, we made it. And then sometimes it comes and it lingers and it threatens and it's menacing, and you just feel it. You feel dark and you feel icky, and the person that's facing it head on feels almost overcome by it, and the person that's watching feels threatened by it and is very aware of it. And so I really wanted to put that out there and say that with all the school of thought, with all the things that are out there, from someone on a front row seat, you grieve because you feel like the person you knew and you fell in love with is gone. And you don't know when they're going to show back up again. And you hope and you pray that they will, and you worry about how much will be left of them when it's over. And you keep up, waking up every morning. And when depression comes to stay, you can start to forget that there's a difference. That the person you married is not the depression. The depression is different. And I told myself that I was not going to cry in this video, and I am trying really hard. But the thing is, guys, the depression has been here for a while. And on Saturday, as I was talking to a friend outside of all of it that wasn't in the mix of the environment and hadn't been feeling, because it comes and it permeates the whole house, and you do your best to create your own space and your own perspective and your own energy, but it is so hard. And I had just been steeped in this energy for so long that I was starting to pick up the negative thought patterns and the fatalism and the frustration and just, wow, can we even make it? And still be ourselves when we get to the other side. I mean, yeah, we'll make it, but are we still gonna be like in one piece? And I was frustrated about some of the things that I mentioned that I knew weren't him, but was what I was faced with 24/7. And I was just sharing with her some of these things, and she just looked at me and she said, "But you know that's not him, right?" And I realized that I had forgotten that. That I had forgotten that that wasn't him. That was just something that was happening to us, and we were both doing the best we could with what we had. And as I've been going through this, and I've been going through stuff at work, and I have just been trying to put one foot in front of the other, because for the first time in my life, I'm struggling with feelings of dread, and like I don't have enough time to do everything, and just feel so overwhelmed, like all the time, and just so done. And as I've been working through all of these different things, I realized how easy it is to feel like a victim. To feel like life is happening to you, or that life is just happening to me, and it's this fault and their fault and over there, and all of the stuff is just happening to me. And I realized how powerless that made me feel. And that it doesn't matter how justified I may feel in saying, oh, well, it's like this is happening and it's the depression's fault, so I just kind of have to take it. Or this is this person's fault over here and I'm a good person, so I just have to take it. Or any number of these things. And it was so interesting, because I was talking to a friend this morning, and as we were talking, she in no way placed blame on me. She in no way was calling me out. She just said, "Allison, have you noticed that makes you a victim? Have you noticed that saying, well, I feel this way because of this person, or this situation happened, and so I didn't really have a choice, I just had to take it," really makes me feel incapable and makes me feel unable to handle it. And you know what, guys? Sometimes things are just period outside of our control. There's not a lot we can do for them. And I know that some people will probably say, well, try this thing or do this thing or go over here. But really, I've been doing this for 9 years. And I am always open to learning something new. But I also know that some of the things I tried only made it worse. And so sometimes I do just step back, and sometimes I do just try and just watch, because I don't want to be a catalyst or a trigger to make things worse. And so I get in a mindset of just sort of receiving or just being present. and trying to let things slide off or to just let things be. And this has become a coping mechanism for every aspect of my life, because I'm afraid to rock the boat. I'm afraid to be the person that lets someone else down. And in talking to her this morning, I realized that if I look at life as a victim, if I look at life as something always happening to me, then I was always going to be burdened with the idea that there's nothing I can do about it. So if you're sitting there wondering, well, what can I do about it? So much of life has happened, and I've watched so much of it go wrong. Or you feel like that, or you feel like there's just so much happening around you that there's nothing you can do. You can choose to put the weight down. You can choose to set one boundary for yourself. You can choose to pray for help and follow one thing of inspiration. You can choose to put lipstick on. You can choose it. For me, as I've been thinking about it, it is my choice to choose that I'm not going to paint my life as a victim. Maybe I can't paint it as a heroine. Maybe I can't paint it as the person who comes in and saves the day. But I do get to tell myself the story. That I make the choice to pray every day for the people I love. That instead of going, woe is me, there's nothing I can do, that I choose to build a brighter future instead of tearing down the one that's my present. We do have choices. Satan wants us to feel like just passengers on, and someone else has the wheel, or to be people in a theater watching the play. But whatever is showing up in our life, we get to choose to make some action. Does that mean that I nag or get fussy when depression shows up? No. But when it means that Heavenly Father tells me or invites me to do something that doesn't look like it makes sense, or that I feel some frustration about, I say yes, because He sees the long run. So, if you feel like depression or anxiety is happening to you, or to someone you love, or it's happening to you because it's happening to someone you love, I hope that you will take a moment to pray and ask what you can do. Because we do have a choice. And when we recognize those moments when we're placing blame on other people, then we get the choice to take it back and say, okay, what have I learned from this? How am I growing from this? How can I set better boundaries? Because almost every time I've wanted to blame someone else, it's because I didn't hold my own boundaries. I didn't stand up for myself. And if I'm not going to take care of what is best for me and best for my health and best for my sanity, then why should I expect anybody else who has no idea what's going on inside my head what needs to happen? And so I would invite you guys to just put some thought into, if you're in a place of blame, or if you're in a place of feeling like life has happened to you, where are places where you can renegotiate boundaries and where you can stand up for yourself? Thank you so much for joining me. I hope I've given you some food for thought, and I look forward to hearing from you next time. Bye, guys.